soon. Hi there, back again with another video on Metasploit all the things. It's a continued video for the course ANEE, and we are already done with few of the topics from the basics, from prerequisite, help menu, loading the module exploits, and so on and so forth. For the Venom, this is what all we will be focusing on, or we will be starting. This is again in a two different part, or it will be divided into two different part, whereas first will be all about the shell code and the structure, right? So we already covered some of the part for the same, like how the structure works for all the different shell code templates, I would say, and what is the format and all the basic stuff. So if you haven't go through those, go to my YouTube channel and you'll find section 3 for the Metasploit all things. So go there, start from the scratch, and you'll be able to understand most of the stuff. So it will be required in order to move ahead, right? So let's get started in order to move further. So during the first or the last video or the concept, we already aware about different templates for the shellcode or a payloads, right? So here there is a connection type, which is a reverse and bind. So what we will going to understand today is the last segment and the second last segment, of course, for the same, right? So the last and second last, like what is the connection type, connection protocol, and the program, how it works. Of course, it will not gonna be totally in detail, but it will be somewhere to the required knowledge or to required for this course, right? So let's get started in order to move ahead here. So the first and foremost, I'll be focusing on three different topics, so not the topics, but three different shell codes or two different shell code, let's say a Windows one and the Linux one. The first and foremost is for OS, that we are already aware. Second is for the architecture. Third one is the program. So let's start with the program first. What is the program? The program, I would say, is just a software or a tool. It can be any tool over your Linux, over your Windows environment or Windows operating system, right? So here, when it says shell is a program. In your Linux environment, it will be bash /bin/bash. So for example, here, the one I'm using right now is a ZSH. So if I type bash, it is a program, right? I'm moving to the bash right now. If I exit, I'll be out. If I type sh, it is another shell program. If I exit, it will work. So let's say /bin/bash is another program, bash ZSH is another program, and there is a sh as well, which is linked to the sh or dash probably. So ll/bin/sh. Similarly, for the Windows environment, you execute this PowerShell.exe or CMD.exe. Those are the shell programs. So the program that is something similar to your shell, sh, bash, or CMD or PowerShell is what we can say, right? Those are the shell basically. So we are aware that, all right, shell is something like CMD, bash, zsh, and so on and so forth. Then the next here is the connection type. Let's understand with the practical example, so it will be much easy and clear for you. So the first and foremost, what I'm gonna do, I have here two different system. Here it will be my, let's say, a victim machine. Remember, on the right it will be my victim machine, and this is my attacker machine. Simple, two different machines. This is the B box, which is my victim machine, and Rebensive is my attacker machine. So, okay. So first, let's start with the bind shell. How this bind shell concept, the program, the shell is nothing but a program. So how this shell or a program is bind to a particular port. So for that, I'll be using NC. NC is a software or a tool which is pre-installed in your Kali Linux environment, and the other Linux you can install by just typing apt install netcat. NC is a netcat. And what it does, it allows us to interact with the network ports, or network communication can be done through this small tool. It can able to send TCP connection, it can able to make a UDP connection and send data, transmit data, and communicate to each other. It can do everything. But the thing is, it is allowing us to manually perform the intended actions against the victim service. Once we started, you'll get an idea. So NC offers few arguments. So let's say if I just type -h, probably, yeah, -h, it offers few arguments. On both the side, it will be the same, right? So here we're not gonna focus to all. We will be just focused to something that is required for right now or for the current topic, right? And for that, there will be first and foremost important thing is port. So let's just include that NC -p. Let's say I want to bind to a particular port, and that will be 4444, right? And the next here is what activity you want to perform. This is what I just said, like, okay, hey netcat, port is 4444, but what to do with that port? So what I'm gonna do, I want to listen on that particular port. -l will going to enable that listen mode. So let's add -l for listening mode. Along with that, what I'm gonna do is I'll add this verbosity. It's not something required, but it will going to tell you what activity is being performed, right? So -l, -v is for verbose, and p is for port. I can all do the same thing by just typing lvp altogether, just simple as that. So nc -lvp 4444 along with the execution, of a program. Program can be bash, can be, let's say, who am I, any program that you want to be executed when someone connects or interact. So when it is a shell, it will going to use this bash program or sh program. So let's go with the sh for now. So nc -lvp tells that I want to listen along with the verbosity on a particular port, which is 4444, with execution of a program. Let's not just add sh, let's make it /bin/sh. And if I hit enter, it started listening on that particular port. The same way how your MySQL service bind to a 3306 port, your HTTP service is bind to port 80 and allowing remote connection to execute a particular functions or functionality or access those functionality, right? So similarly, the functionality or the service is shared over the network is the sh. And let's try to execute, or let's try to connect. So for connecting, I'm gonna do the same. nc, I'm gonna tell, hey nc, you should connect to a particular ip which is target linux on a particular port which is 4444. As soon as I hit enter, I'll get a connection over the destination system. Here it says someone did connected. So let's try to execute command here. Who am I? It tells root. All right, both the users are root, but if I type host name, here we have the command is being executed on the destination system. That entire sh functionality is accessible by just connecting to a port 4444, and anyone can make n number of connections against the same. When I type exit, it will gonna exit this entire process too. So remember, I'll start it back, I'll hit Control C, I'll hit up arrow, and it will connect back. So what's a bind shell? Shell as a service shared over the network, which can be accessible by anyone over the network. As we already done with the bind shell or bind concept, how shell is binded to a particular port which can be accessible over the network, we will move ahead with another topic of the reverse shell, and it is completely opposite to the one we just saw. So again, here on the left, my attacker machine, on the right is my victim machine. So let's move ahead. I'll start again, but this time it will be opposite. Instead of listening to the attack or victim machine, let's just do a connect back to attacker. So I'm gonna tell, hey Netcat, you have to connect to, let's say, target, or let's just type IP address for the same, which is 10.0.0.17. I'm saying, hey Netcat, go and connect to this particular machine on a port which is 4444 with execution of /bin/bash or whatever you want. If I hit enter, it will not going to connect. However, if I start a listener to my attacker -lvp on 4444, and if I hit enter, so I've started listening to my attacker machine where it will just going to listen, and it will like keep door open so anyone can come inside, right? So let's try, let's connect from my victim machine. So here again, Netcat will going to connect to my attacker machine on port 4444 where I'm listening on, and execution with the execution of bash as a program. So if I hit enter, it got a connection, and if I type host name again, it's a B box. So what I'm going to do here is I'm getting that shell as a service, but delivered to my attacker system. Remember, if you need a better understanding, once again I'll gonna repeat, go to playlist, you'll find the 60-sec hack where you'll find concept against the web reverse shell and a bind shell. Go and check, it will make it much clearer and simplified. So yeah, this is all how it works, how this reverse shell and bind shell works, and how this reverse and bind concept does. So it can be other. If it is something related to Metasploit, it will going to be the same. Instead of this bash program, there will be a Metasploit program. There will be a Metasploit software that will going to host. So repeating again, OS is operating system, architecture is 32-bit 64, program is something we saw. For this, it was a bash as a program, or sh as a program, or a shell specific. It can be any other, it can be just who am I. So let me give you a quick example for that. Instead of hosting this bash, what I'm gonna do, I'll host, let's say, host name. So it will going to execute this host name program. If hostname program will going to end up with no interaction, no interactive console is there, it will going to just print a simple line which will be the hostname output. So as soon as I hit enter, of course I don't get this entire binary. So let me quick check, where is this hostname, which hostname, it's /bin/hostname. All right, hello, should be good. Started listener, here we go. As soon as I hit enter, it did executed, and it has no interaction, due to which I got something, just a return value. So if it has an interaction, it will going to deliver that to my attacker system. So the reverse is something like a home delivery of the program. There might be a spelling mistake, please ignore. Home delivery of a program or its functionality, where program can be any software or a tool such as CMD or a bash or whoami or anything, right? Or whatever the function is designed to. Bind will going to bind the program functionality on a particular port, which can be accessed by anyone over the network to interact with the same. The interaction will be shared over the network basically, and yeah, that is it. That is all planned for this connection type. Protocol is something, rules which will be followed. So let's say some we saw for the TCP, so it will just going to follow basic TCP communication rules, right? where we saw HTTP. So what it's gonna do, it will follow that HTTP request format where you'll find this get slash HTTP and the version 1.1 or 2.0, whatever it is designed to, right? And it will gonna have that host header, it will gonna have that user agent and whatnot. So it will follow that entire rules or entire protocol format in order to communicate over the network, right? It will gonna use the TCP port, of course, but it will follow that HTTP structure in a better way. So let's say follow HTTP structure in simple terms. So this is all about this entire architecture things, or I would say in a better way, it is a structure of this entire shellcode template. So the first and foremost, last time repeating the same, OS architecture as your 32-bit 64-bit program is a software which will going to execute during the communication. Connection type is the reverse or a bind. In reverse is something like a home delivery, and in a bind is something like a hosting a particular software over the network for the interaction, where the protocol is the way of communication, I would say, or like the rules of communication, structure of communication, right? The protocol, a better word will be would be like structure of communication, right? So hope that makes sense and hope you learned something new. If you do, hit that like button, and of course you can subscribe to keep learning and go with me for this entire course, which is Advanced Network Exploitation Expert. That is it, that is all. See you next time. If you have any suggestions, if you have any improvements, if you have anything that you feel should be there, or something, some request, you can comment below. I'll surely give my best to revert back soon as possible. So that's it, that's all. See you next time.